How to train your mind to attract unlimited wealth. They shall call it luck. They shall say it was timing, fate, or some invisible charm you carried that they did not. But they shall never see the silent hours you spent battling doubt with nothing but a flame in your chest and a vision in your mind. For wealth, dear one, does not respond to wishes. It bows only to those who command it, quietly, persistently, and relentlessly, with the full focus of a trained and obedient mind. You were not sent here to merely exist. You were not placed upon this earth to get by, to shrink, or to live beneath your inheritance. You are here to build, to call forth substance from the invisible, to shape thought into fortune and vision into reality. And though the world may tell you to chase riches with sweat and struggle, the higher law whispers another path. Train your mind and wealth must come. This is not a tale of schemes nor shortcuts. This is the true law behind every fortune ever formed. When Carnegie dreamed of steel, when Edison dreamed of light, when Ford dreamed of wheels for every man, they did not wait. They saw it. They spoke it. They trained their minds to obey a vision the world had not yet seen. And so I ask you now, can you hold your success behind closed eyes until it burns brighter than any failure? Can you discipline your thoughts as a master sculpts stone, deliberate, precise, unshaken? If you can, then wealth shall come to you as surely as the dawn breaks the night, not because you chased it, but because you became the one who could receive it. Let us begin then, not with the hand, but with the mind. For your thoughts are magnets, and what you hold within must appear without. Your thoughts are magnets. Train them to attract, not repel. Man thinks a thought, and the thought thinks back. The mind is not a box to be filled, but a force to be focused. Each thought you hold with feeling is like a magnet, drawing to you its own. Thoughts are seeds, and the harvest is always sure. The trouble with most people is not the lack of opportunity or talent, but the lack of trained thought. They think carelessly, and the universe returns carelessly. They think lack, and lack is their portion. They think fear, and fear wraps itself around every corner of their affairs. The trained mind is not led by appearances. It does not absorb the noise of the world, but listens for the whisper of truth. It knows that thoughts become things, and that what you consistently think, you eventually live. If you look upon your life and see struggle, discord, delay, or debt, trace it not to your actions alone, but to your thought life. For the world is but a mirror, reflecting back to you the images held in the mind. If you constantly say, money is hard to come by, the law says, so be it. If you believe I always just get by, then getting by is all you will ever do. But when the mind is trained to declare, I live in a rich and loving universe, then riches and love begin to show up in ways that surpass logic. The magnet does not struggle to draw in metal. It simply holds its nature, and attraction happens. So it is with you. When you hold the vibration of wealth, wealth is pulled toward you, not by striving, but by spiritual law. There is no need to chase. The trained mind knows that it already possesses. You must learn to stop rehearsing lack in your thoughts. Many people dwell all day on what they do not have, and wonder why it never changes. They are watering the weeds and cursing the flowers. Thought must be governed, or else it will run wild like a horse without reins. The untrained mind thinks thoughts of lack, and then works 3 times as hard to correct what the mind has already sabotaged. It is not the effort of your hands, but the atmosphere of your thought that brings in the supply. As within, so without. The trained mind sits in quiet confidence, knowing that what it needs is already on the way. It does not concern itself with the how. It concerns itself with holding the vision, the tone, the belief, the inner certainty. You can only attract what you become in mind. The beggar's mentality cannot receive the riches of the kingdom. You must become inwardly what you seek outwardly. You must think rich to live rich, not in arrogance or greed, but in divine expectancy. There is no virtue in poverty thought. It serves no one for you to stay in limitation, but there is power in the thought that says, I am one with infinite supply. All that I need comes to me now, by divine right, in perfect timing. Train the mind like you would train a child. Catch it when it wanders. Speak truth to it when it fears. Discipline it when it begins to repeat the old stories of lack, fear, or limitation. Do not allow the same tired thoughts to take up residence. Renew the mind daily with words of truth, power, and abundance. For what you dwell on, you dwell in. What you focus on, you feed. And what you feed grows. A stray thought can be corrected, but a habitual thought becomes a belief, and a belief forms the framework of your life. So do not treat your thoughts lightly. They are builders. They are architects of the unseen. When you find yourself thinking small, correct it instantly. No, I think thoughts of increase. I am aligned with abundance. Everything is working in my favor. When the world tells you it's not possible, the trained mind replies, all things are possible to those who believe. When the outer world delays, the trained mind rests. Delay is not denial. I am patient, knowing my good is unfolding now. You are always attracting something. The question is not if you are attracting, but what you are attracting. You cannot plant thorns and expect roses. Do not think thoughts of debt and expect a windfall. Do not think struggle and expect flow. You must sow the vibration of what you want to reap. A rich inner world produces a rich outer one. It is law. People try to fix the outside, work more hours, worry more, strive harder. But the real work is invisible. The mind must be trained like a master musician trains the hand. It must be practiced, repeated, corrected, until it plays the right tune without effort. The trained mind plays the melody of wealth, peace, and divine order. No matter the outer noise. You do not train the mind once and walk away. Just as a garden must be tended, so must your thoughts. Weeds of fear and doubt can sneak in. But if you catch them early, they cannot grow. Guard the gate of your mind as you would guard treasure. For truly, the mind is the treasure. And what you allow in determines what comes out. So hold thoughts of joy, expectation, gratitude, and certainty. Think from the end, not the problem. Dwell not on what is missing, but what is coming. When the mind is trained to think in alignment with truth, it becomes a magnet, not just for money but for miracles. Speak riches into reality. Words precede wealth. Before the gold comes to the hand, it must first pass through the lips. The word is the wand, and you are the magician. What you speak, with belief, you call into form. The universe does not respond to begging, but to declaring. Many go without, because their speech is poor, even while their heart longs for more. The law does not hear your hopes, it hears your words. A man may have a good desire, but if his words are filled with doubt, lack, fear, or resentment, the desire is cancelled. Every time you say, I can't afford that, you write a command to your subconscious. Every time you say, nothing ever works for me, the law makes it so. But when you begin to speak in alignment with divine supply, your outer world must obey. Words are not idle. They are creative. They are seeds sown into the fabric of the unseen. Every phrase you speak is a mold the universe rushes to fill. Say, money flows to me easily and often, and the law begins moving in that direction. Say, I never have enough, and it retreats. You must discipline your tongue to agree with abundance. Do not speak of your current condition if it does not align with your desired reality. Say only that which you wish to see multiply. Let the poor say, I am rich. Let the struggling say, I walk in ease. Let the fearful say, all is well. It is not lying, it is aligning. The world tells you to speak facts. The spirit tells you to speak faith. When you speak from the place of truth, not appearances, you call forward a higher order. You shift the atmosphere. You command a new vibration. Speak not of what is missing, speak of what is being made manifest. You are not a reporter of life. You are the creator of it. And creation begins with the spoken word. The word is first cause. In the beginning was the word, and the word was power. That power has not left you. It lives on your tongue. Never speak lack as a joke. Never make poverty casual. For your words are taken seriously by the law, even when you are not serious. The subconscious is always listening. It does not judge. It simply obeys. It receives every word and makes it flesh. Speak success, and it builds it. Speak failure, and it constructs that too. Even when things appear bleak, your words must stay fixed. Say, I am unmoved. I am provided for. Something better is on the way. The spoken word trains the mind. It reprograms the inner world. It shifts the blueprint by which your outer world is built. When you rise each morning, speak riches. Say, this is a wealthy day. I move through doors of divine opportunity. Money loves me and I love using it for good. Speak it with calm certainty, not to convince the world, but to convince your own spirit. When your word becomes law to you, the universe bows to fulfill it. Speak your way into increase. Speak when no one else sees it. Speak when there's no evidence. Speak not to describe. Speak to create. For the trained tongue is the path of manifestation. The lips that bless become the hands that receive. Break poverty programming. Uproot limiting beliefs. The subconscious mind is like a fertile soil. Whatever is planted in it, whether weeds or roses, will grow. Most people do not realize they are hypnotized, not by a man with a watch on a chain, but by ideas handed to them in childhood, repeated in school, echoed in society, and cemented by experience. These ideas form patterns, grooves in the mind, and many of them are poverty beliefs. They are not truths, they are habits of thought. And as long as they remain unexamined, they continue to rule. The person who says, I'm just not good with money, or wealth isn't for people like me, is not cursed. They are conditioned. That conditioning forms a glass ceiling that the soul presses against, but cannot break until the belief is uprooted. Limitation is not real, it is remembered, and what is remembered can be forgotten. What is believed can be changed. You must first observe the beliefs that quietly live inside your mind. Do not judge them, just notice them. When money leaves your hands, do you feel anxiety? That is a belief. When someone succeeds, do you feel jealousy? That is a belief. When you imagine your future, do you picture struggle before ease? That is a belief. These are the invisible roots from which all visible results grow. The mind must be re-educated. The old programs say, money doesn't grow on trees. Rich people are greedy. I have to work hard for every penny. If I receive, someone else must lose. These are not laws. These are lies dressed up as logic. And when the soul accepts a lie as truth, it binds itself to that reality. The way to break it is by exposing it and replacing it with divine truth. The new truth says, there is more than enough for all. Wealth is my birthright. I am supported by an abundant universe. Money flows to me because I am aligned, not because I am exhausted. These truths must be spoken often, not to convince the world, but to rewire your inner system. What is repeated is remembered, and what is remembered becomes your life. The old programming will resist at first. It will whisper, that's not realistic, or who do you think you are? But this is only the voice of habit, not the voice of truth. Speak the new thought anyway. Say that may have been true once, but it is no longer my story. And each time you affirm the new belief, you loosen the grip of the old one. You must also examine the emotions that attach themselves to money. If guilt arises when you prosper, that guilt is a program. If fear arises when you spend, that fear is a program. These emotions are not facts, they are echoes, and you are under no obligation to obey them. When you feel fear, speak peace. When you feel guilt, speak grace. When you feel shame, speak worthiness. You are not your emotions, you are the one who commands them. Wealth is not just about receiving money, it is about receiving permission to live freely. And for many, that permission was never granted. They learned to feel small, to ask little, to shrink in the face of their own desires. This must be unlearned. The spirit does not play small, it expands, it stretches, it claims its inheritance. You train the mind to break old patterns, the same way a musician trains the ear, by repetition, by focus, by correction. When the thought of lack arises, gently say, that is no longer true for me. When the belief in struggle shows up, respond, I choose a new way. When the old voice says, you're not worthy, answer it with calm authority, I am divinely worthy of all good now. There is no shame in having believed a lie, but there is power in choosing not to believe it any longer. You are not behind, you are awakening. And in that awakening, the soil of the mind is tilled and new seeds are planted. Seeds of wealth, seeds of joy, seeds of ease and provision. The subconscious does not change by force, it changes by suggestion. Soft, steady, consistent suggestion. That is why the words you speak daily are so vital. They are the language of reprogramming. What you say when you wake, what you affirm when you pay, what you declare when things go well and when they do not. These are the moments of training. You are now the gardener. You are now the master. What you uproot will no longer grow. What you plant will bear fruit. And soon the old program will no longer run. It will be replaced by a new one that matches your divine design. Use imagination as your wealth workshop. Imagination is the seeing power of the soul. It is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Whatever the mind can hold in picture, the life will hold in form. Most people use imagination unconsciously, picturing what they fear, expecting delay, rehearsing what could go wrong. This is misused imagination, and it brings forth exactly what was feared. But the trained mind uses imagination deliberately as a sacred tool for creation. To imagine is not to pretend, it is to design. Every fortune, every invention, every success was first an image. The world you walk in was once walked in someone's mind. And now you are called to walk in the inner world of wealth until it becomes your outer one. Close your eyes and see your life not as it is, but as it could be. Do not ask how it will happen. Just live in the image. See yourself walking in ease. See the home, the giving, the freedom, the abundance. Let the picture be vivid. Let it stir the heart. The subconscious speaks in pictures, not logic. And what it sees often, it accepts as truth. If you imagine bills, you will see bills. If you imagine fear, you will live in it. But if you imagine increase, joy, and overflow, the soul begins to align with that picture. The body responds. The energy rises. The opportunities match the image. It is not magic, it is law. The untrained mind waits to see before it believes. The trained mind sees it within and knows it will appear. Imagination is not a child's game, it is the adult's blueprint. When the blueprint is strong, the foundation is sure. Most people stop imagining after disappointment. They think it didn't work, so they shrink back. but the image must be held again and again, especially when appearances contradict it. The darkness before the dawn is the time to imagine most vividly. That is when the universe listens most closely. When you hold the picture through the storm, you prove your faith, and faith is the builder's tool. Let your imagination be detailed. See not just the money, but the feeling, the calm, the joy, the giving. See your day from start to finish, in prosperity. How do you walk? How do you speak? What do you wear? What do you give thanks for? The clearer the picture, the stronger the pull. The soul begins to move toward what the mind rehearses. Each day, visit your workshop. Close the door to the world and open the eye of the spirit. Create not just things, but atmospheres. Create not just income, but overflow. You are the artist, and imagination is your brush. What you paint inside will soon appear outside. When doubt whispers, return to the image. When fear shouts, hold the picture stronger. Do not fight with the old reality. Do not argue with the current facts. Simply turn inward and dwell in the image of your desired life. This is not escape, it is mastery. The outer world follows the inner command. What you see in mind, you give life to. What you refuse to picture cannot find you. So imagine wisely, imagine richly, imagine daily, and let the picture in your mind be more real than the circumstances you walk through. Celebrate others' success to multiply your own. When you envy another's success, you declare lack in your own life. Every time you resent someone's wealth, you send out a signal of separation, affirming that you are not aligned with abundance. The law cannot bless a jealous heart, for it operates on praise and recognition. When you bless another's good, you invite it into your own life. What you celebrate, you magnetize. Let your heart rejoice when others prosper. Say within, if it happened for them, it can happen for me. Praise prosperity wherever you see it, in a neighbor, a stranger, or a headline. For what you admire, you draw near. Envy delays the good that's already yours. Celebration accelerates it. Remain calm. Stillness activates receiving. The anxious mind blocks its own blessing. Worry, fear, and hurry create static in the channel of receiving. Wealth is attracted to calm confidence, not to panic. The trained mind becomes still, knowing that divine timing is perfect, and supply never misses its mark. In stillness, the soul aligns. In peace, the answers come. Hold fast in quiet expectation, and you create a clear path for substance to flow. When outer appearances shake, the calm mind remains fixed on truth. Give freely. Generosity opens supply channels. The tight hand cannot receive. When you give freely, without fear or calculation, you open the flow of divine circulation. Many block their wealth by holding too tightly, believing they will lose what little they have. But the law responds to the open heart. Giving affirms abundance. It tells the universe, I trust there is more. Give where you feel joy. Give where you feel led. And know that what you send out returns multiplied. The fearful giver delays their own increase. The joyful giver steps into divine overflow. Align with wealth. Don't chase, magnetize. Chasing implies lack. It says, I don't have it yet. But alignment is calm, certain, and magnetic. When your thoughts, feelings, and actions are in harmony with abundance, wealth is drawn to you without struggle. The one who chases money pushes it away with desperate energy. The one who aligns with truth becomes a silent magnet for all good. Act rich in spirit, think rich in mind, speak rich in word, and the outer will conform. Expect miracles, prepare for sudden good. Expectation is a powerful signal to the universe. What you prepare for, you make room for. Miracles are not rare. They are simply the natural result of unwavering faith. When you expect only what logic allows, you limit the divine. But when you expect the unexpected, you create space for supernatural supply. Live in joyful anticipation. Speak as if it's already done. Give thanks before it arrives. The one who prepares without doubt always receives. Let your life become a place where miracles feel at home. Receive with faith. What you desire is already yours. You do not beg for what is already yours. You accept it. Many delay their wealth by doubting its arrival. The trained mind knows that receiving begins inwardly. Feel yourself worthy. See yourself as one who already has. Open your hands, your heart, and your words to receive. Gratitude is proof of readiness. You are not earning, you are aligning. When you believe you have received, the law must fulfill it. Receiving is an act of inner agreement. And so, as we have seen, the secret of wealth is not in hard labor, nor clever schemes, nor restless ambition, but in the quiet mastery of the mind. When you cast out the weeds of poverty thinking and speak only the words of power, the universe bends to meet you. When you bless the good you see in others, you multiply your own. When you give freely, you receive fully. and when you remain calm, you are crowned with supply. You need not knock on closed doors. You need only align, imagine, declare, and receive. The law is perfect, the supply is limitless, and the giver of all good waits only on your word. Impress your mind with the picture of wealth. Lift your speech to match your destiny. Let every cell of your being remember the truth. You are already rich in the invisible, and it shall appear in the visible. The trained mind becomes the master key, and the trained soul, the magnet of miracles. Now walk in quiet certainty. What you desire is already yours. Speak it, believe it, receive it, and it shall come to pass.